I mean, do you think that you would have survived your rap career if there was social media during the start?
Ooh.
Think about that. Think about all the shit you were into, all the records, the beefs, this, that, and the third. Was all without social media.
It all depends because like I just said, people love shit. They love to see some crazy shit
But
going
social
on.
media magnifies it a lot.
Oh, definitely. Like I think back then, could you imagine all the motherfucking fights at the Jack the Rappers and the motherfucking just shit that was going on?
None of that. There's no video footage of any of that.
None of that
It's
shit.
just a story.
It's just a story.
You know, Cold 187 will tell the story about what happened, but it's not like a video.
We got on the elevator and they had to stick niggas with pins, and you know how we was in New York and we had this happen, or you know, it's been a lot of situations, man, where we was in a situation where we in a certain town and guns had to get pulled. If all that shit was able to be presented, man, it who knows how it would be today.
Well, because remember, you talked about a situation where your producer got beat up at Death Row Records.
Yeah. Unknown was fucking with Death Row when we were working on our third album, Music to Drive By, and they had just came into the Death Row name and was starting to form that. The Convicts was out here. I think the Convicts were probably supposed to be the first group on Death Row. 3-2.
Convicts.
Yeah, Big Mike and 3-2 from Houston. They were affiliated with Rap-A-Lot.
I know who Big Mike is. He joined the Ghetto Boys.
Yes.
After
that was supposed to be the first group, so to speak.
Who left? Scarface left, I think.
No, it was who left?
Who did Big Mike replace?
Big Mike replaced, if I'm not mistaken, Willie D.
Willie D left?
Yeah.
Hold on. See, not now, because Willie
on
D's
the Death Do Us Part album.
Hold on. You're right. Hold on. Ghetto Boys, Death Do Us Part. Willie's actually my friend. I spoke to him just the other day.
We talk to Willie all the time.
No, you're right. You're right. Willie D left. You're right.
Willie D left. Big Mike came in.
You're right.
And then right when Death Row formed, there was some kind of history with Lil J and
Suge?
Harry O.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
And so basically that was going to be the first group on Death Row, was the Convicts. 3-2 and Big Mike. Yeah, they were working on, they were staying in an apartment in Hollywood, North Hollywood.
Wild. I never heard this
before. And they was
before.
working on songs and all of that, and something happened and they left and went back home. And so the first record that came out was the Deep Cover record.
With Snoop.
Yeah. And that's how that came in. But Snoop, they was all around. Snoop was there, all of them, when the Convicts was here working on the record.
How badly did they beat up the producer?
He came to the studio with a black eye.
Okay.
He was basically supposed to have been working on music for Suge and them, for Death Row.
Mm-hmm.
And I think he had took an advance from Suge to work on beats. And a lot of our beats were produced by DJ Slip. Even though Unknown was acting as executive producer, you know, he was basically the middleman. He was the dude who went up to the labels. He was the dude who went and sat in the meetings and all of that. But he was like, Slip did all our work. So I think he took some money to do some beats for Suge, for some of the artists, and he wasn't producing them fast enough. So he went, from what I heard, he went up there to the label and they questioned him on the music. And he said that he hadn't done the work yet because he was working on Compton's Most Wanted record. And I heard Suge said, I don't give a fuck about Compton's Most Wanted. And then so they jumped on him. And he came to the studio maybe 2-3 days later and he had a big black eye because he was in the studio dark as fuck with sunglasses on. And so we was like, why you got sunglasses on? What's going on? And so when he took the glasses off, we seen what happened.
How did you feel about that? Because this is a guy that you're closely working with.
At that time, I was having issues with Unknown, because Unknown has stole all my publishing.
Oh. Did you ever get it back?
No. We're
Really?
still going through it right now. Basically,
Wait,
I signed
30
a deal.
years later, you're still going through this?
I signed a deal with Techno Hop Records when I first signed a recording contract. And what he did was he stapled a publishing contract on the back of the recording contract.
Huh.
And it stood.
Wow.
And so publishing for my probably first 3 records, he took under grandma's hands.
Wow.
I was a writer, but I had no publishing.
Wow.
Every song you saw my name as a writer.
Of course.
But he was grandma's hands publishing. You know, I was a naive kid. I was 17 years old when I started making records. I didn't know shit about contracts or none of that. I just signed the contract. And so I started putting, I didn't know nothing about publishing and writers and all of that shit. I mean, I would see my name on all the labels as writers for the songs, but I didn't start collecting my own publishing till probably after my 3rd album.
But the first 3 albums are the big albums.
Yeah, it's a Compton thing, straight checking on Music to Drive By. Yeah, those were all CMW records. And after that, I switched to MC8 Solo.
Solo.
Yeah, but all the Compton's Most Wanted records, he had the publishing on.
How do you deal with coming from the environment you come from and dealing with violence when it comes to disagreements, to having someone essentially steal your life's work?
But see, niggas like him didn't think of it as stealing.
No, but from you, though.
Me, I didn't know shit about it until I got later on. And then later on, I'm mature enough to know I can't go shoot a nigga. You get me? I can't go beat a nigga's ass. Where's that gonna get me? It's gonna get me in jail. So you hope that motherfuckers be respectful and they understand that this is his shit. And I'm not gonna try to collect money off of this nigga anymore. We haven't seen each other in over 20-something years or 30 years. Why am I still collecting money off of a nigga where I know I didn't write a single verse for this dude? Never. But back then, those labels felt like you owed that to them. I'm putting you in the game. You get me? To this day, a motherfucker would ask me, didn't you get to go around the world? Didn't you get to do this? Didn't you get to do that? So why are you sweating it? That's how they look at it.